Don't never stop if you wanna be on top, yeah.
Hey Ella, I'm sorry to interrupt, but
You're good.
I just finished my first closing today, and a big part of it is because of the knowledge that you provided to me on how to
Woo!
flip this property. So I literally just closed. I got the check right here. So
Congrats. That was the
yeah,
deal. That was the property that you wanted. You were looking at it as a flip, right?
yeah, and then you gave me the idea to pitch it as a buy and hold. So I ended up double closing on the property today. I literally just got out the building, and I'm actually on my way to go try to lock down another property as we
Woo!
speak. So,
Let's
so I,
go, Steven.
Today is,
Nice.
ooh, that is amazing. Congratulations. What market is that in?
it's in Berks County in Pennsylvania. It's in
Pennsylvania.
Reading,
Oh, yes.
Reading,
I remember
Pennsylvania.
that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember you
So
telling me that. Yep, yep.
yeah.
Congrats. That's super exciting. Oh, God, I love hearing that stuff.
So I
Come
just
on, bro.
wanted to hopefully come on here and help motivate others who haven't yet closed their first deal, that everything that Ella is telling you and the coaches are telling you, it really works. Just follow the guidance and implement the knowledge. Action over everything else. So Ella, thank
Yeah.
you so much. You truly means the world to me, and thank you for helping to change lives. And you are a rock star, and I hope you know that.
Hey, I didn't do anything. You did it all. And you actually you should talk about what it took you to get that deal. So
Uh,
how long were you in the group for? What did you do? How did you find the seller? And just brief us like 2 quick minutes on what you did.
so basically just following the strategies that the coaches provided. Looking at what areas were hot based on the cash buyer transactions, and then at that point, pulling the absentee owner marketing list and just cold calling. For this property, I ended up contacting a real estate agent. He's based out of New York, and he had this property that he's been trying to offload. He was in the middle of gutting the property, renovating the property, and he just basically admitted that he neglected the renovation.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know that until I ended up visiting the property, because he kind of described it as in fair condition. So when I actually visited the property in person, it was completely gutted. And so my analysis was a little thrown off a little bit, because obviously I was accounting the repairs as if it was in fair condition and not needing a full renovation. So I got on a call with Ella, and I basically explained to her the situation, like, hey, I have this property. It's in worse condition than was described. I don't know how to, pitch the property if I get it on the contract. And Ella was like, well, what's the rent look like in the market? Maybe you should, pitch it as a buy and hold if the rent is good in the market. I did the research. The rent was pretty good. And then I ended up, finding a cash buyer who wanted the property, and, ended up closing the deal.
Boom. And it's just that simple sometimes, right? Because sometimes we think that like we might not have a deal, right? Like what Aaron and Noel were talking about, right? You guys wanted to, and you wanted to renegotiate with the seller too, I think,
Yeah,
right?
I tried to renegotiate with the seller, and the seller was like, nope, I want 90K. And I was like, oh man. I was like, all right, it is what it is. And then the seller threw in another like wrench in the deal, because the seller was like, because he's a real estate agent. So he was like, I want you to do the inspection before I sign the contract. And I'm like, shit. So I ended up reaching, I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna get out that one. So I ended up reaching out to Sharon, and Sharon's like, yeah, I don't know. I think that deal's pretty much over with, because I don't know how you're gonna get around that. So I was like, listen, Sharon, it is what it is. I'm gonna get back on the phones. I'm gonna be, continue cold calling. I'm not gonna let it get to me. On to the next deal. Literally that same day when I got back on the phones, like my third call, I was actually just reaching out to, to a property owner, thinking like, hey, I'm gonna try to see if the seller's interested in selling this property. Lord and behold, it was the cash buyer for my deal. He was like, listen, he's like, I don't, he's like, I don't, like, I'm not selling that property. I'm an investor myself. Do you have a property in this area? And it was that same property that I was in negotiations with. And I was like, actually, I do have something for you. So I called the seller up and I'm like, hey, listen, actually, I'll abide by your terms. I'll do the inspection. I'll do the inspection before we sign the contract. I brought the cash buyer with me. We inspected the property. The cash buyer was like, yeah, I'm good. Let's lock up the deal. And the rest is history. So
that's hustle right there.
Yeah. So literally, and I'm here at the title company right now. And I told the title company, I'm like, listen, we're going to schedule the first closing for 11 a.m. We're going to schedule the second closing for 12 p.m. I got to make sure my buyer and seller don't see each other. So it was like some Mission Impossible shit going on like a few minutes ago, but we ended up pulling it off. So I just wanted, to come on the call and just basically just try to motivate everyone else and, just reaffirm that what you ladies, as coaches are telling us, it truly does work. And to just listen to the guidance and just follow the instructions and you're going to definitely see success.
Yeah, super. I love that story because it's like super. I mean, you can't walk somebody through that process. You can't say, hey, cold call for a seller and you're going to find a buyer. But things happen, right? Like, for example, we have a seller that we're working with. And he said, well, listen, I don't want to sell you the house, but I have all this Bitcoin that I accidentally bought when I was in college. And you guys are an investment company. Can you guys, can I lend it to you guys? Can we figure out what to do? And we're like, of course you can. It was like, it's like 120 grand that he's literally transferring, like he's changing from Bitcoin to cash to lend to us. Cause he's like, I don't know about this Bitcoin thing, but and what's great is that you guys want to, every time that you get on the phones, you want to look for opportunity. Don't be so narrow-minded that you have to find a seller, you have to find a buyer, because you could find, your next partner, you could find your next investor, you could find a next seller, you could find so many different people as long as you're on the phone and you're talking to people. As long as you're talking to people, you're gonna build relationships, right? That's the biggest thing. And to this day, I love getting on the phones and just talking to people. And trust me, you're gonna be able, if you can figure out this business, you can make wonders happen. So super happy. Steven, how long have you been with us in the group?
Since I think I started my mentorship in March-ish, like the end of March. March.
Nice.
Yeah. So to your point, it's really about just taking massive action, because like for me, I could have felt like I could have closed my first deal much sooner if I would have devoted more time into the business, because I have other businesses as well. So now that I'm focusing my attention on building this business up, now I'm starting to see the efforts, the fruits of my labor, based on the effort that I'm putting into the business. And you said it, you nailed it right in the head when you said it's really just a numbers game. And the more touch points you have, for your business, the more people you're talking to, the more opportunities you're going to have. You just got to talk to people, and that's this business is. It's a people business. So Ella, thank you so much. I don't want to take away everyone else's time for, that may have some questions for you, and because they may get a gold nugget that I received from you, and I don't want to, be a block.
You're good. So. Listen, conversations are always gold nuggets. So I'm sure somebody here probably got some motivation. They probably, I didn't think about getting a buyer from a seller's list. So all this stuff is good. As long as you guys are putting yourself out there, this is considered networking. So education / networking / inspiration / everything. So thank you for sharing that, Steven.
You're welcome, Ella. Thank you. And to anyone who's a father on the call, happy Father's Day to each and every one of you. If you have any kids, let this be an inspiration to go out and get it, to
make it happen.
Make it happen, be something better, build generational wealth. If financial freedom is your goal, chase it, build something for you and your family. And that's pretty much it. So have a wonderful weekend, Ella. Thank you so much. You're amazing. I can't say thank you enough. Thank you.